And we are live. Hey, friends.
Hi.
So, welcome to Tea with Jase. That, you know, let me start by saying that I'm so happy to have you here. Tell me if I pronounce your name properly. Alea, I pronounce it like a French person. Is that correct?
You said it perfectly. Yes.
Okay, Alea. It's like Alea is one of my subscriber. Can I say that?
Absolutely.
And you've been following me and supporting me for years. And thanks ever so much.
Yeah.
I love when that bridge comes where we become, here on stage. And I'm talking to you like I know you all the time because I know you for such a long time now. So
Yes.
thank you very much for being here. And before we start, let me say hi to our friend who always supporting us here. So we have Debbie Sue. Debbie Sue, thank you so much for being here. We have Amy, morning ladies. I'm decluttering while I'm watching. Nice. Decluttering is important. And Debbie Sue is walking in a kitchen. Right. And we have somebody new here. Hey, can't wait to watch. Thank you for being here. Is somebody that you know?
It is.
Okay. How do we call him?
That is
Ola?
Ola B. Hi,
O-
Ola.
Olabi. Hey, Olabi. Thank you for being here on a bus home while watching. That is so nice. Okay, that's excellent. All right. Alea, welcome to Tea with Jays. And before we start, can you please introduce yourself for people who don't know you?
Of course. Well, my name is Alea. I am definitely a big fan and subscriber of your channel. So thank you for having me. I look up to you. I'm so happy that I found
Mm.
someone like you who exists, who
Oh,
embodies
wow.
who I hope to be like in the future, as it relates to just freedom and travel.
Wow.
Um,
Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome. I'm from New York originally. I currently live in San Diego, California. I am known to my friends as someone who's curious, always asking questions about where you're from, what's your life like back where you're from. So I've always been curious about the world around me. I've always had a global perspective ever since I was a little girl. So that did. Eventually turned into me studying international studies.
Okay.
And I now, yeah, I'm now a mom and a wife, and I've been bringing my children to join me on my adventures now.
That's excellent. I want to talk about that.
Mhm.
I titled the video, I mean, the live, What Happened to Travel When You Become a Mother? Because, and I'm interested to know what you're doing because my kids are now adult, but I used to travel with them as well when they were very little until they
Yeah.
were adult and they're like, Mom, we don't need to travel with you now. We have friends. Like, so, okay. So, I also want to talk about the fact that you describe yourself as a woman who's always asking how, why,
Yes.
what, who, and where, because I read your website. You have a beautiful website. Guys, I'm
Thank
going to share it in the comment. Let's give me just 2 seconds to share it in the comment. I invite you to go and check Alia's website.
Oh,
So
thank
let's
you. I just launched it, by the way, so
That's okay.
this is all new.
I like what you shared there. Here's the website and it's in the comment, guys. So feel free to just, click on it. It's a link so you can directly go on the. But first, here. Alia's going to tell you all about her. And then we move on to, you can go check. She also has an Instagram page.
Thank
Right.
you.
So where does that curiosity come from? Because you just spoke about it. Were you
Yeah.
already like that as a child?
I was. So I did live in Queens, New York, which is a pretty big borough, much like Manhattan. So I was surrounded by a lot of cultural diversity.
Okay.
It was just the norm being a New Yorker. But I remember distinctly when I was about age 6, there was this beautiful
Oh,
poster in my
okay.
classroom, and it was a picture of India, or I can't, maybe it was India, maybe it was Pakistan, but it was a beautiful picture. And I remember just sitting there staring at this picture. And I was just so curious about where is this? Who's there? Who lives there? How do I get there? Because I don't know
Wow.
if I want to be here. Um, And it sounds kind of silly now as a grown up, but I would sometimes look at the classroom door hoping that someone from somewhere else would come and pick me up and take me to another land or city or country, because I just didn't feel like I was where I was supposed to be, which is in the United States. Love the U.S. I am definitely a proud American. However, I knew America was at the center of the world. Um, and so many of my friends were from many different countries, so they were always sharing food with me. I would hear them speaking different languages all the time, and I just wanted to know more. I wanted to know what it's like to live somewhere else. How do people organize themselves? How do traditions come about? Why do some traditions stay with us? How and why do some traditions die? Um, but I didn't get the chance to travel as a child, at least outside the United States. I actually did not travel until much later at age 23. So yeah, it was mostly just having friends from different places. Uh, and that's what opened my mind. And once you know something, as someone has told me, once you know something, you can never go back. Your mind can never go back.
Absolutely. I find it amazing that at 6, you already had that awareness of that the world was bigger than where you were, and that
Yes.
there were other places, and dreaming about a poster that you I think it's not silly, it's really amazing. I call myself a nomadic because although born in Africa, I never
Hmm.
feel like I belong to one place. I feel like I'm
Yes.
a citizen of the world. I will go, my place is wherever, you know. So I like what you shared. So
Thank
when you
you.
started traveling at 23, can you take us how that happened? Was it through school, or was it
Yeah.
just something that you decided to do?
Yeah, I have to rewind a little bit back to my senior year of college. I could not travel abroad because I just didn't have the money at the time. I was living in New York City. It was expensive. And on
Yeah,
top of that, my school had they had study abroad programs, but they were to Morocco, I think Italy, France, and like Spain. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, I mean, and I got accepted into the Morocco program, and I was excited, but once again, I had to drop out because I didn't have the money, and I was working part time, so I had a little bit of money, a little bit of savings, and I was just I thought to myself, like, I don't really want to go to Morocco anyway because I really want to see sub-Saharan Africa. I don't know
yeah.
why. And I wasn't a person who was I don't know, like I wouldn't say like, oh, I'm searching for my ancestry or nothing like that. I was just
Yeah.
curious. I just really wanted to know more about sub-Saharan Africa. Majority, if not all of my friends were from different countries within sub-Saharan Africa.
Right.
So shout out to you, Olabi, my Nigerian brother.
Yeah, I recognize
um,
that the name was Nigerian. Yeah.
yes. And so my because friendship has been at the center of my ability to learn about the world without traveling, I wanted to honor my friends in that way by going to where a lot of them came from. And I searched for volunteer opportunities on my own. So I dropped the Morocco program. I researched a nonprofit that worked with orphans in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And I reached out to them. I said, hey, I'm free this summer. Do you guys need help with anything? And I met with the director for coffee, and he was like, yeah, I'll reach out and I'll put you in touch with the people on the ground there. So I booked my flight. I booked a hostel. I had never left the United States. I was 23 years old. So I went, applied for my passport, got the yellow fever card. I did all this on my own, and I decided I never set like an itinerary. I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm just gonna go. And I just went. I flew to Ethiopia, and one thing about me is that I don't walk into situations like travel or exploring cultures with expectations. I just leave the the slate blank, you know.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I just leave it blank. And I didn't have any expectations. I was just curious, open minded. I met my driver. He was quite surprised that I was me. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, I'm here to volunteer for a nonprofit and to check out Ethiopia. And so it's technically a solo trip because I wasn't really affiliated with the nonprofit. I just
Yeah.
offered some services to my time to them. Um, and I didn't have much money in my pocket. I think I had like 100 USD. And
Wow. When was that?
this
Was
was
it on the bus?
2013. So the
Okay.
Addis of 2013 is not today, which is why I cannot wait to return back to Ethiopia soon. And I just went, and I didn't even know much of the language either. I texted a few friends like, "Hey, how do I say this? How do I say that?" I arrived at my hotel late at night. The accommodations weren't as great, but when you're 23, you
Yeah.
don't care. You're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
it's clean." And I finally fell asleep. The time changed for the first time, threw my body off, but I was just so excited to be there. It felt so right. And that was
Wow.
the first time I knew I was exactly where I needed to be. I can't explain it, but I felt it. And it was the first time where my nervous system just regulated. And I still can't explain the feeling till this day to anyone. And this is the best that I can, but it is a feeling I'll never forget. And
Wow.
it's the reason why I kept returning even after. But I woke up to like the Islamic prayer in the morning,
Yeah.
and I looked out to see the sun rising. I saw children playing in an abandoned building. And looking back, hindsight, what was beautiful about that moment is that I looked out at the children playing in the abandoned building. I'm hearing the call to prayer, and I felt at ease, but I love that I didn't look out in judgment. I
Yeah.
was just open, and I embraced the moment, and I sat with it. And yeah, Ethiopia was a journey. I did get robbed. I
You
did
did
get
get
very
enough.
sick. But that didn't taint my experience at all. If anything, it made me want more.
Wow. I mean,
Mhm.
your story is amazing. The fact
Thank
that
you.
for the first time you travel, I'm amazed that there was not like an offer to say, okay, come and help. You actually seek the information yourself and contact
Yeah.
them and say, hey, I'm free. Do you need help? And they're like, yeah, come
Yeah,
on. That is crazy. And then you travel, but you have to arrange everything. They don't
I did.
offer anything like accommodation
Yeah,
or anything else.
it was my impromptu, my own study abroad program. Since my school couldn't offer me what I wanted,
Yeah.
I decided to just make what I wanted happen.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing. And I understand that connection with motherland,
mhm.
when you arrive, like I always say, there's places, this is why for me, I rarely really talk just about Gabon, where I'm from, because for me, when I'm on the continent, I feel connected to the
Mhm.
continent, to some places more than others.
Yeah.
Benin is one of those places where I arrived and I was like greeted by my ancestors, like,
Wow.
welcome home, child, you know? So, and you feel it in your bone. It's difficult to explain. It may
It
sound
is.
crazy, but this is how it felt. So, let me just check what Ola saying. Great website. So
Oh,
proud of you. Yeah, it's really good.
thank
It's
you.
really, really good. And, uh, oh, yeah, simply Debbie Sue saying, oh no, certainly because you got robbed.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, not the best experience, but what's
No.
even more important is that did not taint your
No.
experience and
It,
saying, okay, yeah, because even in 2013, what you will hear about Africa is scary. Most people, if you don't do your due diligence and look for, the information yourself, you won't
Mm.
you won't try to go to Africa because you'll be scared of the
Yeah,
place.
I never had that fourth, like that's never been planted inside of me.
Wow.
And I credit that to just being around such a diverse group of very close friends, but also my family. They had never, their view or perception of the African continent was never negative. My grandmother kept, and still does, keeps African art in her home.
Wow.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. And in fact, growing up in my family, if someone said you looked African, it was considered a compliment. It wasn't
Wow.
like something negative. In fact, my family would always joke, say, "Oh, she looks just like those Africans," and it was a term of endearment, really. So I
Okay.
had never thank God. But the idea of Africa being like destitute and needs
Yeah.
everyone to come save them, it was never planted within me. Even when I would see the feed the children commercials
Yeah.
as a young person,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
go to bed. I never it never painted a broad picture. I remember being like 12 and I was watching one of the commercials one night, and I was like, how come they never show hungry white kids in like Europe or in Eastern Europe or something? Like, I was a kid, but I was just thinking. I kept asking like, why do they always show the people there living like this when I have friends whose parents are doctors and
Yeah.
come from great lives, who have maids or nannies back home,
Yeah.
but yet they're
Yeah.
showing me this image. So I'm very, very, very grateful that Africa found me before anyone could show me who she is.
That's an amazing story. Honestly, I
Mhm.
never heard,
Thank
and
you.
I've interviewed so many people. I never heard somebody that from very young felt the
Mhm.
connection, and also because of where you were living and the people
Yes,
around you. That's really great.
I'm
And the
grateful
other
for
thing
them.
is, oh, my brain just went on holiday. That will happen a lot. That's perimenopause for you here. You're still young.
That's my mommy brain actually most
Yeah, it's like,
days.
okay, it's gone on holiday. So, oh yeah, you were talking about, the commercials. Usually,
Yes.
these commercial then were about Ethiopia, children in Ethiopia, etc. So
Yes.
you went to Ethiopia.
Mhm.
I know you said you never expected anything because when you go to places, you go with an open heart
Mhm.
and just to discover the country there.
Yes.
So, what did you find when you were in Ethiopia? What was your experience um,
Uh,
of the people, of the culture, the food
mhm.
back then?
Yes. I was familiar with the food for the most part, just living in New York,
Oh,
but also living in
okay,
Georgia. My
okay,
majority of my closest friends were from either Somalia or Ethiopia. Because when I moved to Georgia as a kid briefly, and this was in the late '90s, early 2000s. Um, um, there were a lot of refugees from Somalia, and so that's how I made a lot of friends from Somalia, and I had friends from Ethiopia. So I was familiar with the cuisine for the most part. But when I got there, well, one, I was like, oh, finding someone who speaks English is really hard,
okay.
very hard. And I didn't have like translation apps or anything on my phone. But I found the people to be so welcoming. They were curious about me. Some people didn't believe that I was American. They thought I was like lying. Some people thought I was adopted but had returned there,
Yeah,
like returned home. And I'm
yeah,
like, what? Um, but the people, they're so gracious. They're very conservative. I didn't realize how religion wise how conservative they were and how serious they take their traditions and
yeah,
their history and their culture. And
yeah.
I found that beautiful because in the modern world so much gets lost. But I loved that I
Absolutely.
still felt like I was in Ethiopia. You go to some places and you can, you don't really feel the culture, but I felt the culture. And I made a friend there, one of the young women who worked at the orphanage. She pretty much like took me under her wing, and showed me around. And um, she just shared so much of who she is as an individual.
Yeah,
And I was so excited because she watched a lot of the same shows that I did, and it goes back to once again just seeing a person as a person and connecting on a human level on the most basic things of we love the same shows, we like the same food, we both wanted to get married one day, and just sharing that with a fellow Ethiopian, like a yeah fellow Ethiopian, was just I still reach out to her because she changed my life. She took me to museums and told me about the different monarchs and what they how much they mean to the Ethiopian people. And the way they eat, just sharing community, and no matter what, we are in this together. And I really appreciated that. Um, Also, when my things were stolen, I was pickpocketed. um, my the friend that I made, she tried to like fight the guy off, like fight the guy and get the things back, and I was like, no, please don't do that. I Fortunately I can it was my cell phone and my money.
Oh,
And I said, no,
yeah,
no, please don't do that. I can get these things back. Trust me. And I'm okay. I'm good. But she was like, no, this isn't right. I don't want you to experience this in Ethiopia. And I'm like, it's girl, I'm from New York City. It's okay. Like this happens where I'm from too. But she took me to the police station, and we were with a third person, another friend that I made who was from Canada. She was also volunteering as well, another volunteer. So we went to the police station, and I was so enamored or curious about the conditions of the police station, what's around it. I had forgot my things were stolen. So
uh,
as we're on our way to the police station, I'm more curious about, well, what does this process look like? How come, there's no lights and the load shedding, and I had never experienced lights going out in
yeah,
the middle of the day. And so I was like, okay, all right, let me go for a walk. That was my mentality. But we're at the police station, and they're filling out paperwork and taking down all this information. I'm still telling her, hey, we don't have to do this. It's okay. And the police are looking at me because they're like, why is she talking like this?
wow,
So the Canadian, so they're stopped, they're just staring, and I'm like, but because they're not understanding that I don't speak Amharic, and
yeah, yeah,
so it tickled me that I wasn't even concerned about the phone or the wallet or the cash, or I just didn't care. I didn't want my friend to put herself in danger, and I just wanted to get out of there. so
you have
so
an amazing personality. Oh, sorry, maybe I cut you off. Continue. Yeah,
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but that shows like how much he cared about showing me a great version of Ethiopia, and
yeah,
yeah, and I
yeah.
really appreciated that.
But for me, that's the best way to visit a country,
I
through a
know.
local. When you meet somebody who is local to the place you're visiting and they show you their country through their eyes, is the best way to really understand the
Yeah.
country, culture, food, and
Yeah.
everything. I like what Ace is saying here. Once you leave America, you really understand how beautiful the world is. Yeah. And
Yes.
and that comes to something that you said earlier, like you will find out when you travel that it doesn't matter where you go in the world, we're all
Mhm.
human. We
Yes.
all longing for the same things:
Hmm.
love, shelter,
Yes.
having a family, the same. It doesn't matter whether you go to Canada, to Timbuktu, wherever you go, we all the same. And
Absolutely.
close up that separation that we usually have. They are like this, they're like that. Even when I went to Asia, I did a tour with my kids. I went to Japan, China, and South Korea, and we went to visit all the palaces with the kings and all
Wow.
of that. And it was crazy how the Asian traditions were so similar to the African ones in so many
Hmm.
ways, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you learn so much when you travel. Ace said
Yes.
something else. Traveling with children is already a bonus when most people think children stop you from traveling. Great job on the planning. Yeah, and
Yes.
that's the topic of this live actually, is we're gonna
Yes.
come to it, and this is amazing because same, I didn't let the children stop. The children doesn't stop you from traveling.
No. If
You
anything, they
just
wanted to travel too.
absolutely, and it opened their eyes as well as little humans that they are, right? It makes them more
Mhm.
rich, more understanding of the world and of people. All right.
Yes.
So what I understand, Alea, is that you travel more to understand the people, the culture, the world, more
Yeah,
than just seeing beautiful places.
absolutely. I think really um, what really pushed me to want to make it more of an educational, personal education experience was when I traveled to Rwanda in 2016.
Mm,
And I traveled with it's funny how Rwanda comes about, but 4 years prior, I think, or even longer than that, I had learned about Rwanda briefly from someone,
yeah,
but I didn't like think that much about Rwanda. I knew there was a genocide, but I didn't think much about it.
yeah.
And then fast forward 3 years after I learned about Rwanda, I went to a screening for a movie. I went solo in New York City. A young African American man went to Rwanda to make a movie about the genocide. So I was like, oh, this is great. I went solo, watched it, great time, kept it moving. And then fast forward to 20 like 15, 2016. I had a friend who was working for an organization in New York, and she goes, "Hey, the organization I work for, they're organizing a study trip where they're going to study the impacts of genocide in Rwanda. You should go. I think you would like this." And I was like, okay." So I signed up. I arrived, and that would honestly be the reason why I created my website, um, because I got the opportunity to like Rwanda. Just it's such a beautiful country, but the energy was so calming. A little scary how calm it was,
Okay.
but I remember leaving the airport and I got into the taxi and I rolled down my window. I put my just peeked my little hand out and I'm like, oh, it feels so good to be back. And I knew and that something switched in me in that moment where I had to come back and understand where we're going, where that continent is going, because something feels it feels bigger than what I'm even imagining, what I'm experiencing. It feels like something's happening, and I want to talk about it and document it in real time.
Wow.
Because when I
Okay.
saw Rwanda, I was like, "Oh, this is not the Rwanda I was googling. This country is expansive and innovative, and the people are just so pleasant. My goodness."
I
And
haven't been yet. I'm traveling to Rwanda, finger crossed, soon because I'm gonna be
yes,
traveling within a month, and Rwanda is part of that trip too.
yes.
So I've been wanting to go there for such a long time. I have family that went and um, lived there.
Mhm.
They moved from Gabon to live there, and yeah, what
Wow.
I hear about the country is amazing. Despite the history of Rwanda, it's a country
Mhm.
that have really evolved to something that I wouldn't have expected. Uh, yeah.
Yes, I got the chance to also go to the border of the DRC and
Oh,
Rwanda. So I got a
really?
chance to shop
Yeah,
there and spend time
yeah.
there and stay in Kivu. So the trip was, although it was mostly educational, I found myself constantly wandering off to talk to the, to locals.
Yeah.
But it
Mm.
was hard because majority of them were did not speak English, which was fine. They were still quite curious as to like why I was all the way there and what was I studying there. And I just Rwanda just changed, and now I'm like I have to like now live on the continent because I
Okay.
have to move there at some point. Yeah.
To Rwanda or on the
Or
continent?
just the continent. I mean, Rwanda is still an option, but just to the continent in general. And my children, I think, would thrive there.
Okay.
They would
Okay.
thrive there. So that's why I travel with them now because I feel like at some point if I move them there, they'll be ready.
Okay. That's a good way to start actually talking about
Mhm.
the subject traveling with plus motherhood.
Yeah.
So you're traveling with your children, you take them everywhere you go. How old are they right now?
I'm sorry. How old?
How old? Yeah, how old are they?
Yeah. They my daughter is 4 and my son is 7. But they began traveling as like little baby. Well, my yeah, since they were like babies, really. Their first travel outside of the US, their first travel experience was Jamaica.
Okay.
Um, Thank you. Yes. Um, their first experience was Jamaica. My mom lives in Jamaica. I'm not Jamaican, but my mom does
Wow.
live there. Yes.
Okay.
And during my maternity leave, I spent 5 months in Jamaica with the kids. My husband stayed behind for work, but his family is Jamaican, so they live there too. So my kids
No,
are half Jamaican.
amazing.
The kids are half Jamaican, so
Okay.
they're fortunate they'll be eligible for a second passport one day.
Yeah. But you can't have the second passport?
They can. I
No,
can't
you.
because my husband, he's American born. So he can get a second passport through his parents, and our kids can get their second passport also through his parents. But no, I cannot because I'm not, my
Oh,
mom's not
really?
Jamaican. No. But her
Okay.
husband is Jamaican. That's why they live there. Um
Right.
yeah, so I
Okay.
spent my maternity leave in Jamaica with the kids, which was I can't complain, being able to rest in the Caribbean while, coming out of childbirth. But it was beautiful for my kids because they got to be where their people are from.
Yeah.
Introducing them to the foods, watching my son slightly start to pick up an accent.
Yeah.
Sending him to school there for a little bit. He
Wow.
was 3.
Okay.
Um, and he's my son till this day. That's all he talks about is wanting to be in Jamaica, go back to Jamaica. He tells
Wow.
everyone he's
Okay.
Jamaican.
So you're already raising international kids.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. Before traveling with children, did you travel a lot uh, when you didn't have kids? Like, apart from that trip when you went to Ethiopia, were you traveling after that? Did you continue to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I traveled solo, of course, to Rwanda. Traveled with my husband to South Africa. We've been to Thailand. We just got back from Vietnam, but we had gone to Thailand, Brazil. I spent some solo time in Brazil, and I live on the Mexican border, so I've been into Mexico a few times.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Of course, spending time with friends in Canada. Um, Trinidad. So yeah, I've traveled quite a bit even before having children for both leisure and just for educational purposes.
Okay. So what's the difference then, for you traveling now as a mom with your kids
Ooh.
compared to before? Because a lot of
Uh,
people like, I think
yeah.
it's Ola that said something about people feel like when you have kids, you can't travel anymore. That,
Yeah.
that's not the case. Yeah.
I I got my children their passports within months of their birth.
Oh, wow. Hey, Alea, ma'am. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, I got them. They got their passports because I never imagined anything other.
Wow, that's such a compliment. The greatest mom of all time. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I never imagined them not. I never imagined a life where we wouldn't be traveling together. In fact, that's I knew like that would be my legacy is teaching
Okay.
my children through travel. And teaching them that no matter what, always keep a global perspective. What's happening here, it does impact what's happening there, and vice versa. Just teaching them that there are kids everywhere. We aren't the only kids here. um,
Exactly.
yeah, so it was a non-negotiable.
Okay. So for the mom that are watching right now and would love to travel but are afraid, find it challenging,
Mhm.
what can
Mhm.
you advise? What changed for you once you became a mom? And how do you
Mhm.
travel with your children? How do you make
Mhm.
it possible?
Yeah, I will be honest. Initially, I was a bit scared because I wasn't sure if it would be overwhelming for my children. Just, small children, one minute they're fine, the next minute they're crying or cranky. So I thought maybe I thought I would be putting too much stress on them. I was also afraid that I would be creating instability by having them travel.
Okay.
Um, but but I have to live too. So
Yeah, I love that. No, don't be
I have to
afraid
live
to say
too.
that.
So
Yes.
yeah, I have to. I can't. I didn't want to. I mean, yes, you have to surrender to motherhood and the changes that it brings. I definitely became more anxious since being a mom
Yeah.
because now everything feels bigger, louder, scarier. You
Yeah.
know, me traveling before children, there's a little bit of naivety there where you're just kind of like, let's just go and
Yeah.
explore. And now you're more like, oh, but I don't know if going zip lining is it really safe? Like,
Yeah.
you're more. But over time, as my children got bigger, and I started to let go of those fears. I just and I After traveling to Jamaica with them, my anxiety eased. I saw that my children were fine regardless.
Yeah.
Yes, they're
At
gonna
that.
cry,
Yeah.
they're gonna be irritated, but they're gonna be
Yeah.
okay. Nothing
Yeah.
bad, they're fine. And I'm like, oh, we can do this actually. You just plan more in advance
Yeah.
than you used to because now it costs more because now you're buying four plane tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're like, okay, wait a minute. I can't just book these last minute budget trips like I used to. Now I have to sit down and think about what's my budget. Is the trip realistic? Is it too far? Is it feasible? I'm thinking more about the accommodations. Is this big enough? Um, is this affordable, etc. So it's just planning more in advance. That's where the biggest change
G-
came. That's where I was like, oh,
Okay. Do you know, I want to come back to something that you said that's I think is very important. You said, but I want to live too. I need to live too, or I have to live my life too. And I
yeah.
think this is so important for women. I
Mhm.
it's only when I was 45 that I allowed myself to go on solo trips and do live the life that I want to live. Yes, I've always traveled because, moved from Africa very early. I lived in different countries, but intentionally, like not taking my kids everywhere, but as a solo woman and say,
Mhm.
okay, I spend my money to travel. It came later on because I thought looking after my kids and everyone else and the husband was priority. My needs were not that important at that time. So I really love you here. I love hearing you say, I care, I matter too. My needs
Yes.
and what is so very important for the women watching.
Yes. And it
And
comes down to partnership.
yeah.
Yeah, having a partner that supports that need or that want that you have.
Okay. Do you feel like earlier you told you us about the experience that you had in Ethiopia with
Mhm.
that friend that you met and made you, visit the a country through her eyes. So
Mhm.
now that you have children and you're traveling with children, do you
Mhm.
feel like you experiencing every destination differently because of children? Not
Yes.
talking about the safety aspect and all of that, but the way
Mhm.
you experience the country.
Oh yes. Honestly, people treat you differently when you travel with children.
Okay, explain.
They're a lot more warmer actually.
Yeah,
Um, they want to not I don't want to use the word cater, but they're more intrigued to know about you because they see the children. They want to talk to the children.
yeah.
When we were in Vietnam this past March, my children were greeting people in Vietnamese. And
Okay,
people were that intrigued the locals, and they smiled and they would hand them like trinkets or toys, and it lifted like my anxiety about being in Vietnam. Because at first I was like nervous because like, oh, this is overwhelming. I'm also jet lagged. Like, oh, was this a good idea? Because I'm more tired than usual. Why do I feel this way? I never felt this way when I traveled in the past. But the warmth of the people And seeing my children receive that and seeing their faces light up and seeing how much ease and carefree they were, it forced me to shift and be like, okay, relax, look at your surroundings. Yes, Ho Chi Minh is a very, very vibrant, busy city, but look how relaxed the people are. Look at how much ease they move with. And I said, okay, we're okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. And yeah, children are just precious. Wherever
Yes.
you go, people adore children. So they will talk to
Yes.
them. I used to travel also with my kid when they were very little. You know, my youngest took the plane for the first time. She was 9 months old,
Mm-hmm.
to go to Cameroon. So I understand that.
Yes.
I want to dig deeper a little bit on that. Like, do you think we can deeply commit as mothers and still have a life and adventure and dreams that
Yeah.
belong just to us? Like, do you still, are you able to, I know your kid's still small though,
Yeah, they
uh,
are.
travel as solo? Do you find like some, even staycation or weekend
Mm-hmm.
girls? Do you do anything
Mm-hmm.
without your
Yes.
kids?
Yes. I try. Well, two things. That was the reason for creating my website, is to create a space that was only about my travels, and my perception. But I haven't really done I've done one, let me see. Yeah, it's been one solo trip actually. And but I went home to New York, but I drove solo to Toronto by myself on a road trip from New York. That was about 2 years ago. So that was really the only solo trip I've had. And it's not because I don't want to, I'm just still a little scared. And my husband, shout out to my husband, he has been pushing me. He's like,
Wow.
go, just go. Where do you want to go? I'll buy the ticket. You go, just go. Do you want to go to Kenya? Go. And I'm like, yeah, but but then if I miss their swim lessons, so it's
Yeah,
not, so in my circumstances, I'm very, 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 very fortunate that my husband respects my love for adventure and learning and encourages me to continue to pursue that path. He
yeah,
encourages me to just go. And surprisingly, I'm the one who's like, I don't know. But then if I go there, the kids will miss it. And but
yeah,
however, but that was when my children were like, maybe about a year or two ago. Fast forward to today, I'm like, you know what? I think I'll take you up on that offer because now
yeah,
my daughter's fully potty trained. She's in school. My son's 7, going on 8. So I feel that anxiety starting to ease. It's slowly
yeah,
easing away where I'm like, okay, maybe I can go away for a week or 2 weeks without them, and I will feel okay. And so it's coming. I do have something that I'm working on. It is coming. It's just getting leave from work has been a challenge lately. So
yeah,
that has always also been a roadblock, but I'm working and I'm praying on something. And once it manifests, I will get back to solo traveling. But I wanted to give myself time and space to really surrender to motherhood. And
yeah.
part of surrendering to motherhood, meaning that sometimes what you want to do has to be put on hold.
Absolutely. And it's important. It's very important. I think for me, it's like it doesn't even have to be taking the plane, going places. I think
Mhm.
for most women, it will be even like going to the coffee next door and
Yeah.
having like an hour for you to
Mhm.
read a book and let your husband look after the kids. That's
Mhm.
a way of also to escape through a book, right? and
Yes.
and it reminds me when you were talking to us at the beginning of the live, that you actually traveled to Africa even before going there through your
Yeah.
friends. You like, I knew the
Yes.
food and all of that. So I didn't even have, personally, I don't. Yeah, I have some Ethiopian in my family,
Uh-huh.
because my mom adopted in Ethiopia 3
Oh
children,
wow.
and so, but they grew up in Gabon, so they don't know anything
That's
about Ethiopia.
awesome.
So
Hmm.
as a sibling, we need to go to Ethiopia to learn about the culture.
That's
I can't even tell
amazing.
you that I know the food, except going to restaurant in here in England. So I think
Hmm.
you are amazing, Elia. I
Oh,
really
thank you.
love what you're sharing.
Thank
This
you.
yeah. So right, can you tell me what traveling as a mother taught you about yourself?
Yes. Motherhood and travel. What has it taught me? That I'm a great educator when it comes to my children. And
Mm,
that and that I have the capability of teaching them about the world. I was scared that I wouldn't be able to do it, but I'm also brave. And I don't let my I don't let my feet I learned that I am very resilient and courageous, very brave. I do not let fear stop me from pursuing what I envision.
yeah,
And what I envision for my children is for them to really be global citizens. I want them to understand that, you can work in China if you want to. You can go to college in the Netherlands.
wow,
You
I
you
love
have
that.
options. You are
Yeah,
free. You are free to exist in the world. And I realize I am too free, and I'm able to exist in this world too. And that's what I've learned so far, through traveling as a mom, is that yeah, I'm a great educator to my children, and I'm brave, and I'm a lot more patient than I thought I could be. Because sometimes you can easily lose your patience when
yeah.
traveling with children. It is, I'll be very honest, it can be very overwhelming.
Oh yeah,
It is, but
yeah,
you have to be mindful and self-aware to stop and say, these are kids. They didn't ask me to take them here. I'm bringing them on my journey and sharing my journey with them. I have to be patient, and through that self-awareness, I've became better at being more patient, just as a mom in general, just
yeah.
really stopping and saying, okay, she's 4. Yeah, she's tired. So those are just some things I've picked up so far along the way. And most importantly, I still got it in me. I'm still curious. That 23-year-old is, she's still in there. She's a mom now.
That's amazing. Um, there's two things. It may go off my mind right now. There's two things. The first thing is, do you think your kids already picked up the bug, the travel bug, the curiosity? Because you
Mhm.
at 6, you were already like,
Yeah.
I want to see the world. Do you see that in
Mhm.
your kids because they've already
Um,
traveled with you guys?
Yeah. With my daughter, not quite, because she's always asking to go home, to
Yeah.
just be at home. So she may, she, I'm like, okay, she might be like my husband. But my son, I think yes, my son has picked up the travel bug. He's always asking me, Mom, where are we going next? He likes to look at maps with me. He uses his
Wow.
chopsticks anytime he can to eat. He's very he reminds me of me so much. I want to cry. But he's very aware of people's differences, and he's so welcoming to those differences and curious about them. And he'll ask me questions about places, and where is this? Where is that? Um, so my son, definitely, he's adventurous, he's curious, he likes trying new things, he's not afraid to try new foods despite his allergies. He'll ask, he goes, are there peanuts in this? I'm allergic to peanuts, I can't eat this. But when we were in Vietnam, he impressed me the most. He was picking up the language through watching cartoons there, the Vietnamese
Yeah.
cartoons.
Yeah.
um I literally was like, this is my dream come true. I'm living exactly what I prayed for. Watching him, greet people in Vietnamese, he was curious, he's open, he felt free. And I love that. Thank you, Vietnam. He felt safe. And
Yeah.
I love that there they really cater, their society is set up for children too. Anywhere
Wow.
you go, there was, special chairs for kids, special dishware or eating utensils for kids.
Okay.
Um, it's just, it's kid friendly country, that I can say. And I loved that. My son, he's definitely a mini me.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's how kids, can be
Yeah,
different.
and they pick
And
up fast.
I exactly,
Mhm.
just to tell you about like when you say your kid picked up on the language, right, and could
Yeah.
greet people. I think I shared several times. We went to Japan and South Korea, and my kids, we arrived in Japan, and my daughters were talking in Japanese. I'm like,
Wow.
what? They speak Japanese? But because they were watching manga, but they used to tell them off, stop with the TV and all of that. But they were learning, right? And we arrived in South Korea and they're speaking Korean. I'm
Oh
like,
my
really?
god. I
So when we
love
came
that.
back, I paid them the, lessons. Once
Hmm.
went to a university to learn, Japanese, extra curriculum.
Wow.
And the other one went for 6 months in South Korea because sometimes we think kids are just there watching, but they
Yeah.
absorb so much,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
the other thing also that I love that you share is like citizens of the world, they have options. I see
Yes.
a lot of people, being stuck in a place. I mean, the world is open. Today you can go
Hmm.
wherever you want to go. That's what I tell my kids. Like
Mm.
when we grew up in France with my husband, but I came on holiday in the UK, and I'm like seeing so many black people everywhere. In France, it
Wow.
was not on television, there was one lady, but I put the television on. There's so many black people, I couldn't understand that. And
Wow.
then we went to the job center and there's a woman with hijab that come and greet me. I'm like, I moved back like, what does she want? Because I never seen so much representation. I told my
Wow.
husband, okay, I'm moving to England. We're moving to England. It's like, no, because he's also wanted to stay in France. So I left
Oh.
with my daughter. But he followed. He
Mhm.
understood, he followed. And when we moved here, change so much change for us. Salary doubled, more opportunities, but
Wow.
because we took that leap, you know,
Yes.
and the same after 5 years, we went to Bahrain, and the same, there's no tax, everything changes. So just to say this, the world is not as I don't know, menacing or what's the word, that's
Like,
the news. Yes, I'm not saying that there's no war here and there. Yes,
yes,
but the more you travel, you see that the world is such a beautiful place. People
it is.
aren't there always to get you, and you can really build your life wherever. You don't have to stay stuck to a place that doesn't deserve you or does not
Right.
respect you, right?
Exactly. And that's why I want to give my children more options, because just looking at where my country is now, and giving my global perspective of the rest of the world, I'm like, oh, actually, my children can take their talents elsewhere
Yeah,
and really contribute, because I don't know if it would be appreciated here, or I don't think people will, pour into them the way I think they can receive somewhere else. I look at Nairobi, Kenya, which has been on my radar big
yeah,
time.
Kenya is
The-
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't gone yet. Haven't gone yet, but it is on my radar very strongly.
yeah,
And I've been thinking a lot about, the tech innovation there, the climate strategies there, and the culture of the city of specifically Nairobi.
yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder, and I keep asking myself, I wonder how well and how far my children can go if they were to study there and live there.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot about, what does living there and sending my children to school there look like? It also means I have to let go of the academic or school or educational standards that I've always grown up and known. I have
Yeah.
to start letting that go and seeing their journey through education. Maybe it's maybe it's going to look different than I've always imagined it. And
Yeah,
so by taking them to travel to more places and possibly having them live overseas, I have to be open now to, now what does education internationally look like for my kids? What that's my next, you know, moving on to that next page of, okay, we've done some traveling, we'll do more traveling, but let's take it up a notch. Let's look at education internationally now and what that would look
exactly.
like.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's important because in some places in the world, education is still a public service, meaning
Mm,
that it's not privatized where you pay thousands a year.
yeah.
Like my kid had the option to like study at university in France. It's almost free. I just had
Wow.
my nephew that just left with his girlfriend, and they both go to school. One is doing like I forgot what she does, but anyway, university is free for her. He, because his parents work and have good salary, is paying 250 euro a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but at my time, university was 150 euros in
Oh
France.
my
It's a
goodness.
public service. In the UK, it's 10,000, to go
Wow.
to university. They changed it in 2006, so don't quote me on the date, but they changed it, recently. But
That's still
now,
very affordable. That's
10,000 a year.
Yeah, that's very I wish I
But
was
that's
paying
just the
to.
fees. That's just the fees because there's also
Oh,
the accommodation, etc. So most kids
oh,
here will take like a student loan. Is it so much more in the US?
oh my goodness. You're talking it starts between 26 to 30,000 for
The
one
year?
year.
No way.
Yeah, that's just for one year. And that's not including like sometimes the dorm and like
Yeah.
it's very expensive.
This is crazy, but we have options. In
That's why I want my
Germany,
kids to have options because I may not be
yeah,
able to afford to send them to
exactly.
college here.
In Germany, it's free. In France, it's nothing. And a lot of places in Africa, they have good universities that don't cost
Yes.
that much, right? So
Yes.
it's like there's option in the world. I quickly want to go to our friends here. So Ola says, a husband is a legend, sweetest, strongest, non-toxic man I have ever met. And I love that, non-toxic
Yes.
man. Thank you. You
Yes.
are blessed, Alea.
Thank
That
you.
is amazing to have a man that supports your ambition,
Yes.
encourage
He
you.
is amazing.
This is, yeah, that's amazing. And we have a message from your mom. In America, children are meant to be seen or not heard, to be seen and not heard. But elsewhere, they're celebrated. Children that travel learn the diversity of cultures and travel etiquette.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Absolutely. Exactly. Children are celebrated in the world. They're precious. So,
Yes.
yeah, and the learning diversity. I remember my kid when we arrived in Bahrain and everybody wear a hijab, and she was like, it was weird. And after a while, when we came back to the UK, she wouldn't wear like her top without,
Oh, the straps. Yes.
yeah, exactly. She felt so uncomfortable because she embraced the culture she was in.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yes.
it's funny because kids just adapt to
They
whatever.
do.
Yeah. And we have, oh, hey, Mary. That's my good friend here. A wonderful conversation. How amazing to be able to pass on so much worldly knowledge,
Oh,
right?
thank you, Marie.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Thank you.
your kids are blessed. The media represents the world very differently to how it really is.
Yes.
Yeah, there's too much propaganda, we're trying
Yes.
to be scared about,
Mm-hmm.
So, in Spain, Mary lives in Spain. In Spain, uni is about you 3,000
Oh.
a year. So it's
Oh my
more
God, that
expensive
is
than
okay.
France.
I gotta put Spain on my possibility list for my kids.
Yeah. But it's like I thought it was cheaper than France. Okay, okay. Yeah, but parents pay for it here. It is the norm. I know in the UK
Oh,
it leaves student in a lot of debt. Absolutely.
yeah. Wow.
Kids are
Yeah. I wish I
yeah.
knew or had done more research upon going to college. I would have had a very different experience, but I'm also, of course, grateful for my own experience because
Yeah.
university education is very expensive. Yes, strangers are the best, despite me being an introvert. If you know me, I am an introvert. For
Yeah.
some reason, people like to talk to me. I'm like, how? Why? um,
Yeah,
and strangers are the best. That they, oh my gosh, they will change your trip for the best. That I've had that experience.
absolutely. And Mary said it is much cheaper, not as cheap as France. Yeah, France. France in France is like 250 euros. Like, please, it's like it's free. Okay,
Wow, I guess.
and and when your parents have a low income, you're being given a laptop. I mean, everything to support them. The
Wow.
food is free for the kids, and they have like a restaurant at the university where the meal is 1 euro.
Wow.
But that was in my time, and then my nephew told me that's the case today. I'm like, it's been over 25 years or 30 years. How come it's still the same today? So just
What?
for the people watching, there's options out there. For Barbadian children, the government owns the university, so they pay 1,100 yearly, but that is for citizen only.
Barbados. Wow.
Yeah, Kim is from Barbados.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, and she's there right now. All right. Do you have some
Beautiful.
more time? I know we reached the 1 hour point. I have a little
Yes.
bit more question. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Perfect. Guys, I'm sure you're liking the live. So please like the live. And if you have any more questions for Alea, feel free to do so. Okay, right. So next, I want to talk about traveling as a Black woman.
Mhm.
Oh, no,
There you are.
it's not politic at all. Okay,
Okay.
has being a Black woman changed the way you prepare for your travel experience? Because I see that a
Ah,
lot on YouTube. It's like
uh-huh.
countries for Black women, dada for Black women.
Hmm.
Did you feel like being a Black woman, you have to prepare a particular
Yeah.
way to go to different countries, or do
Yeah.
you? Yes.
Oh no, what was your please finish your question or
No, I wanted to add something, but I'd rather not ask you too many things at once. So
it's
let's
okay.
go first with this part.
Um I want to say it's not something I had ever thought about until I
Wow.
became a mom.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Explain.
And it's because I mean it wasn't being naive, but I thought my thought process is more like, well, I can't change my skin color, so whatever. just
Yeah.
just
Same
go.
here.
Just go.
Yeah.
And I have a 1 to 3 philosophy. So for every one rude, ignorant, mean person I meet, I will meet 3 of the kindest people after. And so, and that has always happened. Like I would have like a bad or weird encounter, but then shortly after, I'll come across like 3 or more encounters that are so pleasant and the people are so kind. So I always remind myself of that. It's like, don't worry, 3 more encounters later, you'll forget all about this. But no, as a Black woman, before being a mom, it wasn't like at the forefront of my mind. It just wasn't something I thought about. I'm aware of my Blackness and showing up in my body, how that may impact my experience, my travel experience, but I didn't let it shadow like my planning or travel experiences. But also a lot of places I've gone to, I first traveled mostly to Africa first, and so when I was in South Africa, everyone looks like me, so there's no only thing that stood out was my Americanness a little bit. I tend to be very quiet and observant when I travel. I don't first speak because if I'm quiet and I'm just paying attention to what's going on, I can really take in the environment. And I don't also want people to know that I'm an outsider at first. So when I traveled, everyone's Black like me. So they're not looking at me like, maybe if I'm wearing something that may be a little like, we don't, wear that here. But no, it didn't stick out. When I traveled to Brazil, same thing.
Yeah.
There are other Afro Brazilians there, so I don't stick out too much. And there's a lot of Americans there traveling, so I didn't stick out. It was only when I became a mom and when we traveled to Vietnam, that's when I was like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be like. But once again, it just wasn't at the, it's still not at the forefront of my mind. I know that that type of dialogue exists and people are talking about it, but I've just I don't know why it just
It's good. That's yeah.
doesn't I don't it's not that it doesn't resonate with me. It's not something that I think about because I can't show up as anyone else but me. So
Yeah,
why spend so much time thinking about it? There are places where I'm more likely not to go. I'm aware of that. I'm aware to that extent. So it's just more due diligence, just saying, okay, obviously I'm not going to vacation in Russia or
I'm
parts of
crazy
the
enough
Middle
to want to
East.
go to Russia.
Obviously, I'm not too eager to visit China.
Yeah,
If it
yeah,
happens, sure, but I'm not eager to go because I do understand I understand the dialogue, I have an awareness about it, but it's okay because China or India, those places are not on my immediate bucket list. So that's probably why it's not the forefront of my mind, and it has not impacted my love and need or desire to travel. It hasn't changed it.
absolutely. That's great because I think for me it's like uh I would go where I want to go, where I feel like I need to go. I'm not
Yes.
going to let my skin color decide where I'm going. I understand
Mhm.
that there's place for your safety. You may be careful or decide not to
Yes.
go. But it's true that it's not something that I keep in my mind. Like, okay, I'm going there, but what if, right?
Right.
So yeah, I like what you shared.
Yeah.
I want to come to what about Africa? Your website.
Hmm.
Why did you So what about Africa? Why did you call your website your platform is called What About Africa? Tell us a little bit about that. What
Sure. Um, so anyone who knows me knows that I watch the news a lot, international news to be exact. Just I like to keep up with current affairs, international affairs. And I'll find myself like watching something and I would ask myself, well, what about Africa? This is the largest, most diverse ecosystem or economy on the planet that has so much to offer. But also, the way I see the continent is that they're coming to the table as a player, no
Yeah,
longer the
yeah.
need, no longer asking for handouts. No,
Mhm.
they're now a player in the game. We
Yeah.
have to respect that. And so, what about Africa? When we talk about, the war in Ukraine or this situation in Iran, or we talk about China's Belt and Road Initiative, when we talk about how much the world is shifting, as we enter this age of AI, go further into the age of AI, I find myself always asking, but what about Africa? What about the youth there? What about, how do their economies grow, and how does this shift their narratives and well, post-colonial Africa? So these
Yeah.
countries are very young. What about urban planning and climate strategies? So much of what's happening does impact what happens there, and what happens there impacts the rest of the world too.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I want to talk more about that throughout time, have more broader conversations about Africa's future. And but I want to do it through travel. So
Okay.
that's why I created my website, so that I can, it's my way of keeping the promise I made to myself, is to keep exploring, stay curious, stay open. And so I said, well, if I didn't have the opportunity to work in global affairs, I'm gonna just like the situation in Ethiopia. I'm just gonna create my own my own
Yeah.
platform and do it how I want to do it. Um, and so I created this website where I can talk about modern African cities, urban planning, climate adaptation, culture, and innovation, and just do it on my own time and in my own space, and invite others to have those conversations with me. I am aware that I'm technically an outsider. But I see so many other outsiders talking about the continent, going there sometimes with not good intentions. And
Yeah.
so why can't I take up space here too?
Yeah.
And listen to other people that are there, but also give my perspective as well.
Yeah, I understand what you
Mhm.
mean by being an outsider,
Mhm.
but as an African, and because we are, what you have seen is very welcoming, very,
Mhm.
you know, inclusive. And for me, you describe yourself as an African American and
Mhm.
African descent, right?
Mhm.
For me, when you recognize that you are a descent, your ancestral are descendant from,
Mhm.
you're descending from Africa, sorry,
Mhm.
you have the right to talk about it, because it's
Mhm.
part of you as well. So I don't see it
Yes.
like that. You said that, but when you were saying that, I'm like, yeah, yeah, you have the right to talk about it. you
Yes.
know so okay, great stuff. There's a few
Yeah.
more messages. I'm conscious of time because I know that I'm holding the our friend here.
Oh,
Lovely to
thank
meet you,
you.
Alia. A lot of people know you through through lives because you were commenting on the
Yes,
live, so
I
people know
do.
you
I enjoy
already.
them.
Yeah. So Mary say, I love that philosophy. What a good idea. I am going to remember that.
Oh,
I, I can't remember which one it was here. What was
yes.
the philosophy? It was, I mean, because I'm reading the message
Yeah.
a bit late, so I can't remember. Mary, can you tell us what it was? So, what do you think people still get wrong about Africa?
Mm. I think people still get wrong about Africa. I think that they don't see what they're missing. I think they don't see that Africa is a global player and a power that
Okay.
it can.
Yeah.
It's a growing
Yeah.
power as a block.
Yeah.
I think people still anticipate because of the current situation in Sudan and Ebola and the Congo.
Yeah.
People and the media is still pumping a lot of that image out, and I think it is a little bit intentional because behind the scenes there's so many powerful moves. You look at GERD in Ethiopia, you look at a lot of the technology coming out of Kenya with their EV, the electric vehicles.
Yeah.
You look at a lot of the climate change policies coming out of Southern Africa, and people don't talk about those headlines, but they are going to talk to you about the Ebola crisis, and the war in Sudan is still going, and there's a possible civil war breakout again in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So people are still talking so much about that, and I don't think they understand that at some point, if not, if we're not there now, but at some point, a lot of these very powerful African countries are going to start demanding even more, especially the youth. Um,
Oh,
Especially
there
the
are.
youth.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are going to
Yeah.
demand more, but they're doing it now. And I love and
Absolutely.
respect that. I look
Yeah.
forward to learning more about what it is they are demanding. Um, but they're going to force people to see them as an equal player. And I don't think people quite see it yet. I saw it a
Yeah.
very long time ago, but I don't think people see them yet as an equal player who
Yeah.
has who can demand what they are owed.
Absolutely. I love that. But I think a lot of people, I think today, with the social media, internet, and all of that, if people still see Africa that way, they choose to, because
Mhm.
today nothing is hidden.
No, they
Everything is
don't.
out there in the open. If you want to understand what Africa is all about, you can,
Mhm.
but you have
Yes.
to be interested to understand the continent.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And what do you wish, like, African American, like the women, maybe, okay,
Mhm.
or just not just the women, but Black American understand about Africa? Because sometimes there's a bit of a clash between
Mm.
all different the Caribbean, the
Mhm.
African, the blah blah blah. What which is silly, but like
It is.
it's so silly. So, what do you wish more Black American understood about
Mhm.
Africa?
Um. Well, one, I would for my African Americans first, all your anticipations, expectations, put it behind you.
Hmm.
Don't have any. Be open minded. Um, don't don't show up with an American attitude or perspective, and understand that we are still who we are. We have our own culture. We are Americans. But I want them to understand that the continent, people who are there, who live there, they'll be open to you if you're open to them. And
Okay,
opening and listen first. Just listen first,
listen first.
observe first. Um, yeah, just listen.
No, that's amazing. Yeah,
Just
and
listen.
and what do you wish African understand about African American?
I think I wish they understood that we are just as curious about you as you are
Okay.
about us, but also be open to the fact that we do have our own culture, our own distinct practices that we have created out of. We had nothing, but we created something that has really influenced the world. But I want them to understand um, that we are you too. We are
Okay.
you too, and you are us. We really are, and there's so much more similarities than I think you can even imagine. But if you are open and listening, you'll hear and see those similarities down to different rice dishes, down to cultural practices, down to the way that we worship. I
Yeah.
mean, there are so many more similarities than differences. Yes, differences exist everywhere and anywhere. They do. You can find differences between different ethnic groups within Nigeria. There's differences, right?
Yeah.
But let's put more energy towards our similarities and let's grow from that instead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Okay. I think let me just quickly go to our friends'
Mhm.
messages because there are many. You are impacting a lot of people here. So Mary says, what an amazing conversation to open up. I've just seen your website. Incredible. A
Aw, thank
conversation
you.
a conversation needs to be had about all the topics on your website. I know I was looking at the website. I'm like, I even going to learn even more there. I can't wait for you to develop more your
I
website.
am. I am working on
And
something now.
yeah, that's amazing. And Mary said, jazz philosophy are meant for every.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yes, yes,
Yes.
absolutely, yes.
Yes.
We have a vision of Africa that I feel does not represent it through the
Yes.
media because you
I
shouldn't.
agree.
Yeah, because people continue following the main media, and that's not where you need to see it. Do you know Wodemaya, the Ghanaian?
Yes. I've been
Yeah,
following for years.
yeah, me too. So there's so many people online today you can follow that will really show you what Africa is really
Yes.
about,
They
right?
inspire me.
Exactly. It's not normal that today people will still believe that in Africa there's no car. To this day, people will be like,
No,
"Where do
really.
you live? How
I'm
do
always
no,
I'm
the
always
thing
so surprised. I'm like,
I know, I'm
how could
like,
you think
"Where
that?
did you live? Like, what's wrong?" I mean, it's for me, it makes me laugh more than anything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alia, it was such a pleasure. I have
Thank
tons of more
you.
questions to ask you, but we're gonna hold on to that. And maybe what do you want? Where do you want people to follow you? I know you have uh Instagram page as well that you
I
share. We
do.
can see. Let me see if I can put it here. It's
Sure.
let's
Yes,
see.
you can request a follow. I'm a pretty I'm definitely I guess maybe an older millennial, but I don't post as much. But I do post every now and then, and I'm definitely a shy person on the
A shy.
internet.
Okay, okay.
But
Uh,
please, if anyone is interested, of course you can follow. I'm friendly. I'll accept, and of course continue to visit my website. I will continue to update it at least every quarter of the year, if not more than that.
Okay.
And I'll be traveling again next year to a couple of places. So I'll be using my website to document
Okay.
my journey
Where are
there.
you going?
Next year I'm going to Amsterdam, the Netherlands, taking my kids.
Cool.
But then
Yeah.
I'm pursuing a solo trip to Kenya.
Okay. Kenya's
Mhm.
amazing.
I
Uh,
know.
o- Outside of Nairobi, this time around, I'm going to go to Mombasa. I couldn't do it.
Uh,
It's, toward they have beautiful beaches there, and,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So I'm gonna go there. Yeah, maybe
Mhm.
within a month or so, I should be
Oh,
in
you are
Kenya.
my hero.
Well,
You
thank you.
are.
It's like it's stronger than myself. Like I need to be somewhere.
I know the feeling.
I
I
feel,
sometimes I try to quiet the feeling down, but it gets
yeah,
louder.
I feel like if I'm not somewhere, I'm like, I feel lost.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I leave when I'm like about traveling, going somewhere, and I'm so in love with the continent that I
Yeah.
want to visit all the places. So
Yes.
yeah, right. Mary said, "I love that. Put more energy toward our similarities than differences. 100%.
Yes.
This should
Yes.
be a mantra for the world." Mary, 100% agree with you. Uh, Debbie Sue say, "Hey, Mary." Okay, almost there. Right. So I just want to ask you a few more questions. I'm almost done. I'm now,
Okay.
skimming through the question to make sure that
Sure.
right. So
Mhm.
where you said you're going next year to two countries, right?
Yeah, I'm taking my children. We're taking our children to the Netherlands.
Okay.
I have not properly touched Europe, so that is next on my bucket list.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
I was I had a very much like I'll get there at some point kind of attitude, and it's because traveling to Africa from California is very expensive.
Okay.
And when you're spending a lot of money, you have to be very intentional about where you want to go.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling to Europe from New York, it's cheaper. The flights are 8 to 10 hours just about, but from California, it's almost double the price. So that's why I'm like, like, oh, I gotta choose where I go wisely.
Yeah.
But we're finally going, and we're taking our children in the spring to Amsterdam.
Is it the
Um,
first country in Europe? No.
yeah, well, I've only had short-ish layovers in Germany,
Okay.
and the Netherlands, but I've never like stayed like for
Why
days.
the
So
Netherlands
it's my
as
first
one of the first country?
because it
It's a
reminds me of
great
New
place.
York City. Amsterdam
Okay.
reminds me of New York. Just the
Yeah.
architecture, the buildings, and
Yeah.
so it's a way of me kind of curing my homesickness, but also
Yeah.
exploring something somewhere completely new. I'm very curious to see what Amsterdam has to offer, what the energy feels like. I want to see
Yeah.
the museums. I'm not too the food, maybe the pastries, but I haven't really heard good
Yeah.
things about their food.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. But I'm more curious to see how the diaspora lives in Amsterdam, and
Okay.
how they like it or not like it.
Yeah.
Um, and then at some point, I want to make my way to the rest of Europe. But yeah, I definitely can't wait.
You're such an interesting young woman. Honestly, I'm leaving the
What's so
question because otherwise I keep you here until tomorrow because I still want to talk to you. But did you ever thought of maybe creating a YouTube channel to share your insight? Because you're so interesting.
Oh, I think I did not because I didn't think I was interesting.
You're joking.
No, I don't know. I'm very introverted, so I just everything happens in my head. I'm just like, okay, I want to do this.
All
This is my goal.
introverted people find their way to YouTube because they can talk to the camera. They don't have to talk to people usually, you know. Oh, think about it. It could be a way for you to share your
Mhm.
knowledge because you have a lot of knowledge. You
Oh
know,
wow.
I don't want to put any pressure on you. You know, going to
Yeah.
Amsterdam and see how the diaspora live. I mean, a lot of people will just go to places, see pretty places, like, but not trying to understand beyond beyond the
Oh.
beauty of the
Ah.
place, right? And
Hmm.
that's so interesting. I would watch it, and I know a lot
Really,
of people who would watch it.
I don't. I think it's because in my head, this is. I'm like, yeah. Doesn't everybody share this perspective? Like, isn't
No,
this the norm?
no. The way you think, the way you educate your kid, it's so refreshing.
Ah,
I
thank
wish when I
you.
was at 25 or 30 or whatever, I had that mindset, you know? For me,
Oh,
I was
thank you.
naturally moving as a nomad because jazz nomad is because, well, I'm a nomad. And so
Yes.
my kids have that in them because we took them everywhere. But it was
Yes.
not something intentional, simply
Oh.
because I've been moved from Africa to Europe to so many
Mm.
different places that is something that lives in me. But you
Hmm.
had to make that effort to understand something that's outside of your
Of your
country.
country. Yes, and I do
Yeah.
it, and I do it intentionally, and it feeds something inside of me. And every time I encounter people from different places,
Yeah.
try something new, it breaks more of breaks my fear down, and I become more brave. And it's like, okay, I want more of this. This feels good. I feel alive. I feel like I'm like living. Um, yeah, I feel alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I that's what living, I'm alive. I'm here now. I'm supposed to just live now. I don't want to wait until I'm of retirement age, or money will always come, money will always go. It's the ebb and flows of life. Bills will always be there. You'll pay them and you'll keep going. But having these experiences awaken something inside of me that has just been dormant since I was a little girl. And
Yeah.
I want to honor her by continuing to travel and now share this with my children, and let it be my legacy. So if I ever have grandchildren or descendants, they'll that's what they'll think of when they think of me, and the life that I live
It's an
or lived.
amazing legacy. Amazing legacy. Thanks ever so much,
You're
really, for
welcome. Thank
honoring
you.
us of your presence here. It was such a beautiful conversation. I
It
learned a
was my
lot through
pleasure.
you. I Please come back anytime you want.
Of
I'll let you
course.
go. I want to say thank you to our friend, to your
Thank
mom who
you.
came, to
Yes.
your friend. Thank you so much. Hola. Thank you, Ace. Thank you, all of you. Kim, Mary, Amy, Debbie Sue, all of you. If I
Thank
forgot you,
you.
please don't get mad if I forgot somebody. But thank you so much for being here with us and
You're welcome.
supporting us. And
Yeah.
Alea, all the very best. And
And the
whenever you
best
want
to
to
you,
come and share with us, please
of
do.
course.
And if you ever decided to share your experience, your wisdom through YouTube, do tell us. We all come and support you.
Oh, I appreciate that. And this is a big deal for me because I have been hiding for years,
Yeah,
just
you
keeping
shouldn't.
everything
Yeah.
bottled up and just thinking, there's no one else out here that I can relate to. Or so when I came across your channel, I was like, that's me. She's the future version of me. Oh my
Yeah.
God. She exists. So
Exactly. And hearing you, I'm so
thank you.
amazed. I homeschool my kids. A lot of the things that you did, I've done them like naturally. I'm saying not intentionally because it's not something that I was thinking of, but I've done it because it's just part of me. I
Yes.
was somebody that was like unschooling my kids, like taking them, learning from the world as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you. The same to you.
Yeah, and your mom say blessing to you both.
Oh,
Blessing you
thank
to
you.
you, Ali and Mom. You have raised such an amazing young woman, and I'm sure you are proud of her. So yeah. All
Thank
right.
you. Bye,
Love you
everyone.
guys.
Have a
Bye
great day.
guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you, Leah. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye guys.